Good afternoon. Going to another neophyte presentation. And since a lot of you enjoyed my Instagram live, I figured I would do a live on YouTube because I haven't done one of those in forever. So, ask me anything as I get ready. Turn the chat so I can see. And it's a little dirty. Do I have a a little bit better. Not a life-changing difference. Welcome to those who are just now signing on. I am doing another Q&A. Feel free to put anything in the chat or ask me any questions as I get ready. I'm being completely transparent. I only started doing these because I ran out of ideas for content. So I'm just like, whoever wants to ask me questions can ask me and I'll answer them that way. Buddy, is there a particular reason why you're between my legs? That's my dog. Let me take out all the things I need. That way I can adjust accordingly. It was deep pecan. I'm trying to figure out what concealer I had, and it wasn't that deep pecan. And I know this is very impromptu. Usually I'll announce when I'm doing a live Q&A. I didn't have anything better to do this afternoon, so I said, well, let me put propped up as I'm doing my makeup. That way people can ask me any questions that they want while I do my makeup. Question of the day is, how am I going to do my makeup? Maybe a nude and a bold lip, perhaps. How's everything going with everybody? It's nearing the end of the semester for some people. So I'm very curious to know if you're in undergrad, how your undergraduate experience is going. Has it been everything that you've planned? Are there some things that you would have liked to have changed? Did you get into your organization? Hello. Let me know. Again, if you have questions, more than available to answer any questions you have too. A lot of your questions may already be in my playlist, which is what I do find myself saying a lot. And it's not that I don't want to answer your questions, but you'll get a lot more information out of me if you just go to the playlist. Oh, we have a question. What are some things that a fraternity could use of benefit from me? I would say, even though I reference sorority life because I'm a female, a lot of the information that I provide can be used for any gender wanting to join an organization because it's pretty general altogether. So my FAQ would be a great playlist for that, but basically like the do your research component, letting your interests be known, knowing if it's okay to let your interests be known. Those types of questions are questions that I think can also, or tips of advice really, would be helpful for anyone, no matter the organization that you want to join, because it's still relevant to you. So knowing that information is good. What else? I did a series. Some of you who are new to my channel may not have seen it because it's pretty old, but I did a series one time called something to the effect of like, my boyfriend is in a fraternity. But if you listen to it and you flip it to my girlfriend's in a sorority, it's a lot of similar information. People change when they join organizations. Not everybody. Some people change for the better when I say change, and some people actually like do a whole 180 in personality. But I think that advice was pretty solid. As far as interest goes, doing your research, getting to know the members of the chapter, knowing information about the organization in itself, asking yourself why you in fact want to join that organization, because a lot of people will just want to join just for the sake of saying that they are in an organization or they're a legacy or a little bit of information like that. And while it's great, like being a legacy is great. My undergraduate chapter just had a full class of at least 4 out of the 6 girls were legacies, which is great. But if you are a legacy and you're just joining just because members of your family were part of that organization, ask yourself, why do you still want to join? Because you may not be a good fit for that organization. And as, you know, taboo as that may sound, it's true. I have a friend who joined my sorority and her mom was part of another sorority, and I shouldn't laugh, but it's like, when you're a legacy, your parents will be like, if you don't join this organization, I'm not going to pay for any other organization. And that is very true for most people. Most people will say, or will have parents who say, my mom said that I can't join any other organization but this one. She's not going to pay for it, which I feel you. It's hard to make that kind of decision. But at the same time, you have to be sure that that organization is a good fit for you. Like my friend, she knew she wasn't going to be a good fit for that organization, which is why she chose our organization that she's currently in. And she's very happy with her decision. I don't think she would have been into as happy as she was in another organization, because she knew in her heart that that's not where she belonged. So if you are in that situation and you just don't know if it would be a good fit, talk to people. Talk to people who are in that organization. Talk to people who are in the organization that you're interested in. Do your research. No one will judge you for doing your research and making sure that the organization that you pick is right for you. Because then you'll run into that scenario of, I wanted to join this organization, but I changed my mind. What will happen? Blah, blah, blah. So make sure that you just do your research in that regard. You're welcome. Trying to figure out how to work this on my iPad. I can't. There we go. Now I can see. Will being a legacy ruin your chances of being a member of the other one? Like I said, you need to determine if the the organization that you're most interested in is in fact the organization that you want to join. Because if you are going through the effort of the organization that you're a legacy of, getting to know people, showing implied interest. Ooh, that's a good video. Somebody remind me. Video on implied interest. But you're implying that you're interested in the organization, but you in fact are researching another place. Yeah, word will get around, especially in undergrad. More so in undergrad, in my opinion, than in graduate chapter. But word will get around that you are interested, or you're showing interest in one organization when in fact you may be interested in another. So don't put yourself in that situation if you're unsure. Do your research first and then start engaging with chapters and talking to them and getting their opinions on stuff. Because word spreads very quickly. And in my honest opinion, I think men gossip just as much as women do in undergrad. Because anytime I wanted information about somebody, I would go to the fraternities, because 9 times out of 10, the fraternities had information that I did not. So I say that to say that they gossip in undergrad just as much as the women do. So just make sure that you know where you want to go and what you want to do before you make any moves, because they are watching. Any other questions for me? I don't anticipate this being like a hour-long live like my lives usually are, but I'm here if anybody has any questions. That was a good question. I do get a lot of guys interested in fraternities reach out to me individually, so you're not alone in asking your questions. What else are we going to do to other things? And this is not by any means a example of my makeup skills. I'm literally just doing something simple for the purpose of having makeup on. What would a time frame of a 1 year, would 1 year relieve that? Thank you so much. I don't think that would happen, but like I said, know what you want to do before you start making moves. And I can't exactly put a time frame on it because every organization and every chapter is different. Sometimes you have people in a chapter and they're in it for 3 years, technically, if they're a sophomore, 2 years, I'm sorry. 3 years if they're like a second semester freshman, 2 years if they're like a sophomore, and that person can be in the chapter for a while. So a year wouldn't cut it if they're still in the chapter and they still know what they know. So it really depends on the chapter, but just be mindful of that. If you think that you're doing something or that a certain decision may impact that, then don't make any moves until you know for sure what you want to do. All right, that is it for eyeshadow and for those of you who may be curious where I'm going, it's a graduate chapter presentation, which you don't see those very often. So I was like, oh, I'll go. I'm going to a graduate chapter presentation. Maybe something that you see later on my channel, maybe not. It just depends. I should put on Instagram that I'm doing a live. I didn't plan this out very well. But I figured I would jump on and say hi. What else is going on? Some of you may already be in your processes of joining your organization, or maybe you're at the end. If you're at the end, congratulations to you. Joining an organization is a very exciting experience. We just had a couple of undergrads, like I said, come through from my undergraduate chapter. My graduate chapter does not anticipate doing membership until fall, which I agree with, because for some of you who may not know, little tidbit, if you're ever interested in joining an organization, and this is public knowledge, this isn't anything unknown, but if you look at the timing, and I believe I put this in my pros and cons of joining an organization in the spring, but you will find yourself, if you pay your dues at the beginning of a semester or season that it comes back around very quickly in the spring because a lot of organizations will restart their fraternity or sorority year over the summer. So even though you just paid dues, you just paid your money, your fees, it comes back again and you got to pay again. And that's just the way the system works sometimes. You'll hear some chapters tell their members in advance that that's something to anticipate, and they will have them like pay extra money so that it covers that cost in the future. So that's a thing, but for the most part, a lot of people won't do that. A lot of people will just have you pay your initial fees because that's all they're concerned about, and that's completely understandable because money does not grow on trees. But you can anticipate paying that amount again in the future because it'll come around very quickly. So bear that in mind when you want to join an organization about the timing. When will the timing be right? Will it be right when your money is right? Some people. So just bear that in mind. What other little gems can I drop? What other little pieces of gems can I drop? I don't know. I feel like I've created every possible. Jack, is there a reason? Why are you trying to sleep in my overnight bed? Can you get in your bed? Come here. In your bed. Your bed. Bless these animals, Lord have mercy. Don't get a pet. Just don't do it. Don't get a dog. Don't get a cat. Don't get a fish. Don't do it. Too much. Too much maintenance in life. I'm over here running a zoo. Let's see. What's another piece of jam that I can drop? I don't know. There's so many pros and cons to being in a sorority. It's definitely not for everybody. I will say that. It is very, for me anyways, it has been very time consuming, but only because my chapter is a newly chartered chapter. So if you ever become part of a chartered chapter where it's new, you will spend a lot of time doing things for your chapter because new people are learning things, you are learning things. Not like you're a part of a established chapter where they already have everything running and you just have to like get in where you fit in. Some things you have to start from scratch. And it's not necessarily a bad thing because if you are in a position where changes need to be made and you can make those changes, then you can make changes, that are effective and that work for everybody. But it is a process. You're meeting with new people, you are building things up for the most part. So it is a very interesting process, I will say. But it has been fun. It's been very rewarding. And I love my chapter that I'm part of right now because we get along, everybody gets along very well, and we do what we're supposed to do, and then we have fun at the end of the day. If you can have fun and do what you're supposed to do, y'all will be all right. Anticipate devoting time. Even as a new member, you can anticipate devoting a lot of time because you're new, your established members will want you to be involved. They'll want you to network and get to know people and get your hands dirty. Although I say that relatively because get your hands dirty with me, volunteering, being out in the community. You have some people who do community service all the time. So they want other people to get involved now because they feel like they've done it for so long. And that's where the meals will come in at. You guys will be the ones coming in and doing the work, which isn't bad. But prepare to spend a lot of time doing it. I'm getting better at doing my eyelashes. I'm very proud of me. I watched just because I said that I messed something up. Just because. Just because. Oh, nope, we did a good job. And we'll push it down. Somebody's watching on the shoulder. Alright, I think. I gotta put eyeshadow on top of that because I did kind of mess that up, but not terribly. Okay, where are we at now? My skin is starting to not look good either. I don't know what's going on. Hyperpigmentation is coming back. Doggone spring. Make sure I'm not missing any questions because I spent a lot of time on my eyelashes now. Any other questions? I promise next time I do a live, I'll do a better job of letting you guys know in advance. YouTube is kind of falling off, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but there's so many platforms for people to use as content creators to where it is very hard to just find one place and stick to it. To be fair, I don't spend that much time on YouTube or Instagram, but Instagram is very easy for me to just get on and get off, whereas YouTube, I feel like I spend a little more time making sure that the content is perfect before posting it, whereas Instagram, I don't really care. But I love you guys for still being on my channel and watching my content and interacting with me. Y'all don't have to take time out of y'all's day, especially today, to certainly see what I got going on, because Lord knows I'm not an interesting person. But I appreciate you guys for coming on and just seeing what I got going on today. I've been trying to think of content that I can create for you guys that's just not been done before, and it has been very hard. I really think that that's why I haven't been on YouTube. I know that's the reason why I haven't been on YouTube, because I don't have anything to share, and it's not in a bad way. It's just, like I said on my last live, a lot of the content is repetitive, so I don't have new things to share. But I'm always open to people sending me questions and asking questions. I do create a little list. I have a little notebook where I'll go in and add y'all's questions. So on days when I get ready to see them, I'll open up my little notebook and I'll be like, yeah, I haven't answered this question yet. Let me create something related to that. So please continue to DM me, message me, all the things, because I know how hard it is to join an organization and not have the information right there, because a lot of people are hush hush, no, discretion, discretion, which I agree with about some things. And then other things is like, why not just tell people? For the longest time, you didn't know how much your dues were. What is your question about joining an organization internationally? A lot of sororities are international sororities. So what's your, give me a specific question about joining internationally. What do you mean? For the longest time, you didn't know how much your dues were when you joined an organization until you joined. And after a while, the organizations were like, well, if we get the information up front, then they'll know what to expect. And I'm like, yeah. And they finally started doing that, which is great. That's probably too much. Because a little bit of this goes a long way, but that's okay. It's a dark room. We're going in. Waiting on you, hun. Give me a little more information about joining a sorority internationally. Military spouse, research the chapter you're interested in. The sorority has not had any events. So every chapter is different. You guys have heard me say this before. With them kind of being radio silent on their events, there are one or two ways you can approach that. The very first thing that I recommend doing is seeing if the organization accepts solicitation for membership. That will let you know whether or not they will even like respond to your emails, because if they say that, some people won't even respond to like a hello. But see if that's a factor first. If it is not, then I would encourage you to send them a polite inquiry email. Check out my videos on my channel about inquiry and interest email so that you know the difference. But send them an inquiry email and just say hi, introduce yourself, and that you give them a little bit of information about yourself, but hi, who you are. You were interested in knowing if the chapter was hosting any events that were open to the public in the future, and see what they say. If they respond, great. If they don't, give it some time. My general rule of thumb is to give organizations at least 2 weeks to respond to an email, because when you send it matters. They could be busy that time of year, or if you send it in summertime, some of us, not myself included, I just say some of us, everybody else in the organization, but some people in the organization, if they are away for summer or if they are working on their like chapter retreats and things like that, they won't answer public emails until they've like installed new officers or restarted the year. So those all may be contributing factors. But I say all of that to say to send them an email and just let them know that you are just inquiring about future events that are open to the public, and if they are expecting to have any available. And most of the time, they'll respond and say what they have going on. So that's my recommendation for that. As far as joining an organization and you being international, a lot of these organizations have international chapters. So I don't know where you live, but maybe look to see where there is a chapter nearest you. And this is for anybody. This isn't just for the person who asked the question. If you watched any of my videos, which I keep saying I need to go back and do the fraternity ones because I have not yet done the fraternity ones. That would just, I need to do that. But if you go to my videos on how to navigate the website, each organization that I went through, they all have these sections of discussing chapter locators and where you can find chapters in your area. So those videos walk you through how to find that information as well if you don't know what chapters are nearest to you that you can reach out to. Anybody else have allergies to where if you just touch your nose, it tries to start running on you? It's so disrespectful. Any other questions for me? I feel like I'm getting close to wrapping up my Q&A because I'm almost done with my makeup. But I'm here if anyone has any last minute questions. I know some people are going to be like so annoyed that I didn't announce that I was doing a live. But I'm sorry. I was bored. I got to do my makeup and go somewhere. So I just figured I'd jump on real quick. I'll do better next time, I promise. All right. What else is left, Kels? What does being deferred mean? Do some organizations do it? I have never heard of a organization deferring. I don't actually know what that means in an organization sense because I've never experienced that. If you want to message me directly, please do so and we can talk. But I've never heard that term in a fraternity and sorority like setting. I've heard of moratorium, but I've never heard of a deferral. What else is left? Has it been your experience as a grad member versus what has been your experience as a graduate member versus undergrad? Hi, best friend. My experience as a graduate member versus an undergraduate member. Not to deter anyone, but I thoroughly enjoyed my undergraduate experience. I felt like if I knew then the things that I know now, I would redo my undergraduate experience and just do more. Because if I had known in undergrad that the second anti-bacillus of my organization was actually an undergrad, and that's the highest position that an undergraduate member could do, your girl would have ran for anti-bacillus while she was a student. But I didn't know that at the time. So just like little bits of information that I learned as I was like going through being in undergrad were things that I was like, oh shoot, I should have done that. So now I tell my neos and I tell the members who come in these little bits of information because I don't want people to miss out on opportunities that I missed out on. Being in undergrad versus being in graduate chapter. In undergrad, I felt like I was a little more flexible than I am now. Being an undergrad, you're on campus, you're in the scene, you know what's going on at all times, you know about all the social events, all the meetings, anything in relation to university life and student life, it was all right there for me to be a part of. So I thoroughly enjoyed just knowing at all times what was going on. Whereas in graduate chapter, we are dealing with working adults who have other obligations going on, like they have families, they have work, they have other priorities. Not saying that they don't put their all into their organization that they're a part of, but you know, I'll be the first to say family comes first. Well, God, family, you know, sorority life for the most part. So I feel like I don't have as much flexibility as I did when I was in undergrad, but I still have the same amount of fun. Like I thoroughly enjoy my chapter that I'm in right now because we actually take time to spend time with each other when we can. Like today, we're going to see a show and then we're going for cocktails afterwards on a Saturday. If I had school or, you know, something more pressing going on, I'd be like, let me know in advance so that I can attend, which is what happened. So I still get those opportunities to be a part of things and be social, but it's not right there like it was when I was in undergrad. Like as soon as you get out of class at like 10 a.m. or 1 p.m. the latest, you have the whole weekend or the whole day to yourself and you can just kind of enjoy yourself. Whereas now I kind of have to plan my life a little bit more. I got to be a little more strategic in time. But I think those are the main difference. I still enjoy, oh, that was a lot. We got to fix that. I still enjoy my sorority life. I enjoy being with my sisters. It's just a different feeling than being a graduate chapter. You don't get that in your face social life that you would normally get in undergrad, because in undergrad you hang out. We used to have our student union was called the Russell House. So if you didn't have anything else to do, you go hang out in the Russell House or go meet up at the Tree of Knowledge. Like there was always something to do or somewhere to be. Whereas now when I'm done with chapter, I'm like, my phone is off. I don't really want to do anything else because I probably have something else going on and I can't be as available. So those are the main differences, but there is really no negative experience. I've had people join graduate chapter and said they would never have joined in undergrad because it was too much going on, or vice versa. People like a lot of things going on, whereas they'll think graduate chapter doesn't have very much going on. So it just depends on what works for you. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, though, in my honest opinion. A lot of people will say that if they couldn't get in undergrad, they just wouldn't join. And I'm like, why? If you have the opportunity to join in graduate chapter, if you really say that you want to join an organization, why not try again when you're in a graduate chapter? And it may be a better experience for you if you do it that way. So those are just my thoughts. Did I put powder? I did put powder. Where are we at? We did highlight. I think that's everything. Is there truly no age limit to pursue undergrad? No, there is, and you would have heard me say it once, if not several times on my channel in some regard. The only requirement to join in undergrad is to be in pursuit of a 4-year degree. Now, whether or not you want to join an undergrad at 30 is at your discretion. What makes you feel most comfortable, but every organization will say it. You have to be in pursuit of a 4-year degree and meet the other, membership requirements to be eligible, but there is no age limit to join an organization. However, in undergrad, they're very active. And if they have a yard show and you join and say you're a solo member, it's just you and your pro fights, I'm pretty sure they're going to have you on that flow stepping too, girl. But if that's your jam, let that be your jam. Is there a radius for joining a graduate chapter? For some organizations, there is. For some organizations, there is a radius as far as how far you can be away from a chapter nearest you in order to join. You have to go to that organization's membership page to get those specific details because every organization is different. I need a white of some sort. Good, man. My nose is running. What else is left? Lips. Any more questions? I got a few more minutes. You're very welcome. Y'all see that highlight? This is an eyeshadow, mind you. Details on my Instagram live. What lipstick are we going to use? We're definitely going to use Night Moth as a lip liner. I got room for one, maybe two more questions. Somebody is really enjoying young children out here. Hope all is well. There's an organization that I'm interested in, and they usually have intake every spring around the end of April, but haven't reached out to any interest yet or said anything. is this, did they have like an interest meeting and haven't said anything, or they haven't said anything regarding that interest meeting or anything? Because it is likely that if they haven't said anything about anything, that they may not be having an interest meeting this spring. That is a possibility. Well, I don't know where. I'm not where this. What does that mean if they haven't had interviews? They only had 1 to 2 events this semester. They could not be having intake at all. If it's undergrad, from my experience, like I said, I am no expert, and nor do I have like eyes and ears on your campus. But it is very possible that they're just not doing anything if you haven't heard anything or seen anything regarding intake. It is possible that they're just not doing anything. Oi, Chihuahua. You're very welcome. All right, I think this is what we're gonna go with. I don't know how I'm gonna do my hair. I might just leave it down. Ooh, child, my elbows that ashy. Lord have mercy. Don't talk about me. Y'all didn't see my elbows until just now. Or if y'all did see my elbows, why didn't anybody say anything to me? I think I'm gonna wear it down. It's giving, I don't know. It's giving Afro goddess. There are 2 chapters that I'm interested in. One of the chapters is more about having lines, and the other is to know the members. Is it okay to go to both activities? Is it okay to go? Okay, so you may have heard me say this before. If not, I'm gonna teach you something. Don't use the word line. Main reason, some organizations will see that as a innuendo, if you will, for hazing, because we don't use the term, most of us don't use the term lines anymore. So I don't want you to get caught up saying the wrong thing and, get in trouble for that. But thank you. If it's just a public event and it's open to everyone, there shouldn't be an issue with you going just to like be a part of it and see what's going on. But as you are getting to know the organization, and getting to know the chapter members, and you are trying to make a decision, the more intimate settings, the more intimate events, I do not recommend going to both, because you're going to want to make a decision eventually, and you don't want to give off the wrong idea that you are interested in one when you're in fact interested in the other. Now, mind you, I'm guessing, but if it's the same organization, just different chapter, it's okay for some chapters. But there are some chapters that are very like territorial, for a lack of a better word, regarding people who show them interest, and then they see them showing interest to other chapters. Everybody's not like that. You can kind of take a feel for people to see who's actually like that. But I say it as a word of caution because you are going to eventually need to make a decision, and you don't want to give off feelings or vibes, if you will, that you are going to a particular organization. You, in fact, may switch and go to another. So if it's just public, innocent, just public to get to know people and see what's going on, by all means, go to both. If it's something more interest, like an interest meeting for one versus an interest meeting for the other, you should have made a decision before going to whichever one you decide to go to, so that you're not giving them the wrong signals of your interest. I believe that is it for me, you guys. I know that was a lot, but I'm down all night, so it got to stay. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you got some good tidbits of knowledge and feel a little more informed about sorority and fraternity life and your interests. Hope you learned a little bit more about me as well as I was just chatting away, spilling secrets. Not really, they're not secrets, but sharing little tidbits of information for you guys. I hope that you found it helpful. And please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Y'all already know that I've kind of been ghosting you guys. And, you know, if I see more subscribers, that may make me want to be like, oh, there are new people. Let me give them something. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'm kidding. But if you haven't subscribed and you've been watching my videos and you just found them helpful and you just want to know more, please subscribe. You'll get information from me every week. Every week I'll provide a video, whether it's a vlog or sorority talk, a tea talk. I post a video every week. So you get information from me. It may not be what you're looking for, but you can say that I post every week. But I hope that you guys found this video helpful. Thank you guys so much for jumping on the live with me and for getting to know me. You would be the one to want to ask a question that when I'm wrapping up. What's your question, hon? Can I ask a question? Didn't I say I had 2 minutes left? Go ahead and ask your question. I'll keep talking about subscribing. So if you're not subscribed, make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss any content from me. Lots of stuff coming up. I'm really excited about something. You guys may be the first to know, not you, best friend, because you already know. But I have a couple of trips planned, and I'm very excited about them. And one is going to be in June for an entire month. I'll be out of the country filming content. I'll let you guys guess where I'm going. And girls trip. But I'm not going to tell y'all where we're going for girls trip. Y'all just have to see that. Where else am I going? Oh, upcoming trip at the end of the month. I'm going to Tennessee. I will tell you that. And that's going to be fun with the cabin. Should be a nice, fun trip. Do you think 23 is too young for a grad chapter? Oh, what an interesting question. No, it is not. Being 23 is not too young to be in a chapter. When I joined my graduate chapter, I graduated college at 20 or 21, and I joined my graduate chapter when I was 22, and there was a 20-year-old who joined with me. So no, I will tell you that there are generational differences that you need to make yourself aware of or you'll experience once you join. But that is something worth considering when you're joining a chapter that are perceivably older in membership, like older in age. It's not necessarily a bad thing because you get that wisdom, but do your research regarding the chapter members and what that may look like for you. If you don't know anything about generational differences, there is a video on my channel about it that talks about it, so please take a look. But to answer your question, no, that is not too young to join a chapter. That's almost as young as I was when I joined my grad chapter, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself at the time because I did connect with older sorors who got me involved with other things that I was interested in. So no, I don't think that it's too old at all. But that pretty much wraps up all my time. I hope that you guys enjoyed this content and that you got your questions answered. If you have any questions for me, let me know. I will, like I said, do a better job of letting you know of my lives in the future so that you can kind of get your questions ready in advance. But please reach out to me if you ever have any questions. Follow me on Instagram, KelsTells. I can only respond to messages sent to me by my followers. So please make sure that you are following me on Instagram so that you can send me your questions so that I can answer it for you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this content, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.